Hello, welcome everyone. Carol Patrizi here. So thrilled that you are together with us today. And oh, what a treat. Way to tune in. Great decision because we are here with Luke Harlan, transformational coach. And when Luke and I had the chance to visit just the other day, during our conversation, he shared that the linchpin of everything he does surrounds accountability. And his story is amazing. I'm going to ask Luke to please introduce himself because I don't think I would do that justice. So, Luke, please tell everybody about you.
Sure, Carol, I appreciate being here and for all of you guys tuning in. My name is Luke Harlan. I'm a transformation coach. And really, what that means is I help people overcome their limiting beliefs, the misconceptions of stories that we tell ourselves that hold us back from the greatness that resides within us, how we're getting in our own ways, and alleviate that so you can live and create your best life.
Well, that's a lot. It's,
Just a little
it's
bit.
kind of just a little bit. It's kind of everything, mind, body, spirit, the whole of a person, correct? Um, when we met the other day and we were able to visit, I you were kind enough to let me talk with you about a bit about your personal story. And I've thought about it a lot. You were at a place in your life, not, let's just say it didn't sound like you were sitting in a bed of joy,
No.
and you found out you were I believe, blood and bone marrow match for someone who desperately needed you to generously share of yourself in that way. And that was but the first pivotal moment that started this journey of helping others in this manner, correct?
Absolutely. It was a time in my life, as you said, it just wasn't joyful. I was depressed. I withdrew from society, withdrew from my friends. I was phoning in my life with my kids and my work. And I was literally rescued by a phone call saying I matched a critically ill leukemia patient, that I had signed up to be a donor. And fast forward, I'm on the hospital bed. And as I shared with you, there was this revelation of moments where there was this person dying in another part of the country and they didn't do anything to bring leukemia on themselves. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't from their actions. Yet here I was in a hospital bed. I was quite overweight at the time. I was quite depressed. I wasn't, like I said, I was retracted, withdrew from life. And I realized at that very moment that if I made the decisions that landed me here in this bed in my current condition, that I can make different decisions. And in that moment of just literally almost crying was this cathartic moment of hope, was that realization if I took accountability to make a change, to change what I had been doing, I can get the results that I was actually looking for. And so it was in that aha moment that I realized that I did have the power, that I did have the control. I was being a victim to the circumstances that I was creating. And in that became my salvation of how to do it. I didn't know at the time, but that led me down to the path where I am today, helping others overcome the things that are holding them back to give them power back to their lives so they can create whatever it is that they intend to do.
Unbelievable. And just an aside, you have, well, you shared with me that this saved your life
Mhm.
and it also saved this other person's life, and you all stay in touch once a year. I know that's not
Yes.
always the case for people that share in such a incredible way, but you all do speak once a year.
That is correct. Beautiful man. He lives in Germany. I didn't know that at the time. Has multiple grandchildren now, living a fruitful, abundant life. And through just one small gesture, he actually saved my life by just the kind of the divine bringing us together. Pulled me out of where I needed to be by feeling of value, feeling needed when at a time I didn't. And so that became the catalyst for changing the dynamic of my life and the gift to pay it forward to others.
Wow. We talked a lot about paying it forward, and it's just amazing. So, from gratitude
Mhm.
And ownership and accountability comes this amazing story. And as you pay it forward by playing such a big role in people's transformation, wherever
Yes.
that may be, um, what would you share with the audience? How in the world, certainly I hope and pray for all of us that it doesn't take this life-saving moments to turn things around and to step into ownership and accountability and make these different choices. Um, what would you tell a person that's not quite, they're content. Well, they're not content. They're just kind of going through life.
Sure. Well, I think the reason why people just go through life is because they don't think they have any power to change.
Mm,
They put all the emphasis on external situations and circumstances. I can't change the government. I can't change taxes. I can't change my job. I can't. All these can'ts and won'ts and shouldn'ts. So they're convincing themselves that they don't have the opportunity to make a difference in their life. So they just go along and get along and don't rock the boat and just accept it. It's almost a defeatist attitude. I would say the biggest paradigm shift that my clients have and that I went through myself is something that really came from Eckhart Tolle and was paraphrased by a guy named Jim Detmer in a book, an amazing book called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. And the paradigm shift of your mindset is when we go from the philosophy that life is happening to us, meaning we're victims of life,
mm.
to life is happening for you, which is that positive, open abundance that, hey, life is happening. It gives us the power within to start turning obstacles and opportunities. But the real power comes when we escalate and we appreciate that life is happening because of us. When we become the creators of our lives, it takes that accountability and that responsibility to realize that we are the creators, that we're not a victim of circumstance, that we can change our decisions. We can change our thoughts, we can change our beliefs to make the decisions that are going to have actions and outcomes that now serve us as opposed to hold us back or diminish or sabotage. And I think that's the real mindset shift, that paradigm shift, is how our perspective of life is, which is are you currently asking yourself, is life happening to you and you're a victim of it? Is life happening for you and you're the champion? And even that next higher tier, is it because of you? Are you taking ownership of being the creator of your life?
I truly believe in order to answer those questions honestly,
Mhm.
that it's so nice to have someone, a coach, someone to discuss those, the answers to those questions. I'll never forget somebody said, oh, do you go to counseling? And I have been to counseling since this time, but I said, no, I don't. Because somebody told me they don't tell you what to do. They make you just answer a lot of questions.
Sure.
I want
But
somebody to say, do this, this, and this, and you're good.
yeah. But I think that's the first in the program that I do called Mindset Freedom. There are 5 distinct mindset shifts, and the first one is self-awareness. So those questions are to elicit what reality I am. We tell ourselves stories all the time to kind of get us through the day that things are better than they are because we don't want to face it, because facing it means we have to do something about it, and that can be scary because any change of circumstance we naturally go against. We rebuff change. That's just a psychological paradigm that we have in humans, a survival mechanism. But when we're in that self awareness and we have those deep questions, and they're really hard questions to answer, there are 3 questions I always ask my clients, which is number one, what do you really want? Not superficially, deep down, what do you really want? Second thing, why do you want it? What's that emotional intrinsic anchor that you need to have to get through the tough times when you're faced with those obstacles? Because it's going to be hard to make those change. And lastly, how are you going to feel when you accomplish what you accomplish? Can you put yourself in that future emotional state so your brain can get trained to what it's going to look like and then go to that direction? Because we have a neurological ability, our brain, our reticularly activating system, to basically, it's a GPS, it's a thought GPS. We give it instructions and it looks for opportunities to get us there. That's a double-edged sword, because if we're down on ourselves, it's just going to find things that can reinforce the down on ourselves stuff and the negative. But if we think positively, we show gratitude, and we have goals, and we understand that emotional connection that's tied to the goals, then our brains will take over, and that supercomputer will go to that destination using all the resources that we're not consciously, in touch with. So that's really really that's why those questions. Yeah, I'd love for somebody just to give me the answer, but until we're open to really understanding what we want, why we want it, how we're going to feel when we get it, we can't then move to that strategy, that structure, that blueprint, those exercises that we can take action to make those things occur. And that second part is that accountability piece, when we take ownership of moving forward and really examining our beliefs, our intentions, and where we want to head.
Yeah. What, why, and how?
Yeah,
Big questions and wonderful conversation. Okay, so interestingly, that what, why, and how may be a bit easier or more opportunity for that to happen for those that are in kind of an okay place. You know, one of the words that have come up a couple of times in our conversation today is the word victim.
hmm,
And there are so many in our world. And I think I mean, when I say this, I mean this as guilty of in my
sure.
life at some point, maybe not today. However, I'm going to say guilty of almost anything anybody brings up. However, to play victim and that lead to exactly what you're saying. My thoughts are more of if then, if this, then I will, rather than I am I'm going to do that. It's just this, they're stuck
Yeah.
and seriously stuck in this place of victimhood, if that's a word.
Well, you nailed it, because there's a paradigm called the be do have philosophy, or the have be do. And people subscribe to have be do. I have to have this. I have to have the happiness, the joy, the purpose in order to become the person that can do the things. I have to have and be and then do. When that's not the way it happens, it's
Mm,
that you have to do the action to become the person that can then have the things that you want. And this is the thing with emotions, is that we have to take the actions against ourselves with our negative thoughts, with our obstacles. And in that action, we divert our ability going from negative to positive, because we can't be in a negative positive state at the same time. So by
mm,
taking action, it distracts you into the things that you want to do. And when we take those actions, we create belief. We create those micro successes. And then the more successes feeds the belief cycle. So we take bigger and bigger, intentions and actions to create the reality, and then our emotions catch up to it. And the other thing about victimhood is that it doesn't mean that bad things can't happen or that external situations aren't in your favor. There's a difference to being victimized by reality when considering yourself a victim. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, and a lot of my clients initially reject this, is that everything that happens in your life is because of you. And they're like, no, no, all these external circumstances, I didn't control that. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm controlling how you either intelligently respond to the outside world, no matter what happens, that's in alignment with your goals and your intentions, or whether you allow it to yourself to emotionally react to other people and give your power away. Let them influence your behavior and your actions based on feelings and emotions that you're not controlling. And that's really what I mean, is that we have that divine right. It's called free will. We have the ability to either intelligently respond, provided that we've done our homework of knowing what we want, why we want it, how we're going to feel when we get there. We need to have that North Star. We need to have that framework. But then from that point, we enter into self-awareness and accountability. So when things happen, we're going to choose the path that is in alignment with those goals, that gives us the power to make decisions in our best interest to create the lives that we want, and not allow the influence of others to direct our actions. Because if we do that, then we're truly a victim, and it's no longer our lives. We're being instructed and influenced by other people who are not us, who may not have our best interests. So if we want to make our decisions and own and control and be accountable, we have to embrace the fact that our lives are the sum of all the decisions that we choose to make, good, bad, or indifferent. And when we do that, we can always choose to make better decisions to get different outcomes if you're not happy where you are.
right. Back to that living in insanity, same decisions, thinking you're going to get a different outcome.
Absolutely. And once we understand that we have that power, and it's not some great overnight success, it's something that we work on with my clients, and that self-awareness and that mindfulness, to start to recognize those things which are tripping us up, those things which go back to beliefs that aren't really our own. They're given to us as children from our society, our parents, our religion, our community, that we believe to be true at a subconscious level, but yet we're making our adult decisions based on other people's belief system. So we have to challenge those. We have to validate the ones and verify that still support us. And we have to challenge and choose different ones and create new behaviors and habits to then make different decisions and have those outcomes that are going to serve us and be in alignment with those new goals.
Yeah, incredible. And asking the questions that you have shared, what, why, excuse me, what, why, and how, you
Yeah.
know, though that is going to change. You start thinking about your future
Mhm.
self and making decisions from such a better place.
Absolutely.
I mean, what a beautiful thing. Now, I know I wish we had so much more time. I actually, just one more note.
Sure.
This gentleman that we spoke about that, at the very beginning of the call, this dear person that in Germany that you two have literally saved one another's lives. I think of him, and as you said, he had not made any decisions. He had this terrible situation,
Mhm.
and he took action. He actually started seeking out someone who would be willing to help him. And that to me, I mean, what courage. He stepped out in hope and courage and faith that someone, you know, would with this divine intervention would be there. And little did he know he would be saving a life at the same time.
And that's the beauty of it, is that when we take action, which is a cure to everything, is taking action. Because if you don't do any, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you're
Right.
in a place of pain or even average or ordinary, but you have that compelling internal ticking saying you want to be more, you want to do more, you believe that there's something greater in life, which there is. You're all of us were given a kind of a divine purpose or just a greatness that we has been muted, and where it's calling. And as you get older, it just wants to bubble out, but we don't know how to have that conversation. We don't know how to listen to that internals. But when we do, when we take action towards that, it's amazing how the universe meets us halfway. It
Mm,
will always, if we don't get moving, nothing's going to come closer towards. We're not going to attract what we intend to achieve. And we just have, and comes back, everyone gets stuck on, well, how am I going to do it? What's the plan? What's the strategy? Well, this takes us back to Dr. Martin Luther King when he said, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to take the first step. You do
yeah.
not know the reality, but when you start taking the first step, that's when your vision, your awareness, your bias changes to the good, and we start seeing the opportunities have always been there. But until we focus on that intention, until we open ourselves up to learn, to be taught, to embrace, to be curious again, to acquire that knowledge and enter that growth mindset, then we're going to be stuck in our own mindset prison, the limitations that we have set for ourselves. So that's the beauty of taking action, is putting ourselves out in an environment that's accepting of all the things that were meant for us.
Mm, yes. I mean, I would love just to sit down, have you here all day long, invite other guests to come and speak with you. So thank you so much for what you are doing for others for this time. And before we go, I know that you so generously are offering something to the audience. Would you talk about that a little bit?
I think that dovetails perfectly, because a lot of us don't know how to have these conversations, and because it's an internal one, and we're always taught to go for the external, to acquire things, get a new skill, change our environment, those sort of things. And so what I'm offering is a one-on-one clarity call strategy to really understand, to go through those three questions of what is it you really want, why you want it, and how it's going to make you feel, and have where I can act as a sounding board, and you can start to hear what you truly want internally be vocalized. And once you hear it, you can start to embrace it. And then we'll have a strategy and point you in the right direction of how to achieve it and what steps you can take. So that is my offer, because most of us don't. You're not going to get that from a pamphlet or a static video. It
Yeah.
happens from human to human. It's the energy, it's listening and understanding, and then being provided that pathway. And that's what I'm offering is that one-on-one strategy and clarity call. Because the three things that we can never ever give ourselves is that insight, clarity, and perspective. And we need that unbiased observer to tell us where we're getting stuck and realizing it ourselves that we're the obstacle instead of becoming the opportunity. So that's my gift to your for you guys tuning in today.
What a beautiful offering. I mean, oh goodness, everybody, let's get on that call. Let's get on those clarity calls. I cannot thank you enough, Luke. I mean, this is really this transformation that everyone needs, and it is ongoing. So
Yes.
thank you there. Thank you so much for being there for everyone, for your time today, for sharing. And I know that everyone fortunate enough to hear this conversation today has been given such a wonderful gift. So thank you for your time.
No, it's my pleasure. It's been an honor and a gift to share this with you guys today. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. And okay, you very fortunate audience. Let's get in touch with Luke.